Hello, hello. It is noon on Wednesday, so welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm going to give people just a couple of minutes to hop on if anybody is going to be joining us live. So we'll get started here in just a couple minutes. Another beautiful February day. I hope everybody had a fabulous Valentine's Day. We're celebrating Valentine's week here at the center, so it's been fun. Welcome. So for those of you that know me, hello, welcome to another Wellness Wednesday. For those of you that don't know me, I am Dr. Becky, owner of OsteoStrong here in Sioux Falls. Wellness center where we focus on all things bone health, aging well, balance, posture, improving back and joint pain, everything that goes along with just living your best life. So Wellness Wednesdays are focused on answering your questions, whether pre-submitted questions that you want to ask me during the live session if you're joining us, and commonly asked questions that we get from our members week over week. So if you are joining me live, go ahead and say hi in the comments so that I know that you're here. If you're catching the replay, either say hi in the comments or hashtag replay or something to let us know that you're here. The way this is going to kind of work, we have a few pre-submitted questions from our members. One that was submitted online and two that was submitted from our members, I guess, that we'll be answering today. If you are joining us live and have a question, go ahead and type it in the comments, and I'll try to get to that at the end of the live here. So, hi Nancy, welcome. Hope you're having a fabulous day. And again, if you're joining us live, make sure and say hi in the comments like Nancy did. And if you're watching the replay later on, make sure and say hi in the comments as well so we know that you're watching. But today, we have a couple of pre-submitted questions. And they're questions that we actually get a lot. So first and foremost, from Pat H, wondering about if people can do OsteoStrong post-surgery, specifically after like a hip surgery. And I'm going to answer this in the realm of both pre-surgery and post-surgery, and kind of touch on joint replacements as well. So we're going to kind of cover the whole caveat of that question. So one of the biggest challenges that people have as they get older is obviously arthritis or joints, specifically weight-bearing joints like your knees and your hips, kind of wearing out or giving you issues. And so a lot of our members come to us with chronic pain, either pre-surgery or getting ready to have surgery or hoping to be able to postpone or prevent surgery, along with, looking at possibly joint replacements or already have joint replacements. So one of the things, well, let's talk about kind of pre-surgery or pre-joint replacement first. So this goes kind of hand in hand with the idea of arthritis. Most pain and most joint dysfunction is caused by inflammation. So people who have chronic pain or who are kind of looking at potentially having to do a surgery at some point, if we can strengthen the joint complex and strengthen the bone tissue and all of the ligaments and tendons and muscles that move that joint and strengthen that whole joint structure, a lot of times we can improve the function of that joint, the flexibility, the agility, and then reduce pain as well. So we've had in our own center, but just OsteoStrong is a worldwide franchise. So just franchise-wide, many of our members are able to actually postpone or completely cancel that kind of impending surgery. It works exceptionally well to be able to buy you time by reducing pain and getting the function back. But even if you have to have surgery, or you're coming to us post-surgery or post-joint replacement, our program can actually work really well as kind of a prehab is what we call it. So a pre-rehab, because the stronger you are going into a surgery and the more function you have going into a surgery, whether it's just a joint repair, a labrum repair, or fixing a ruptured tendon or ligament, or a full joint replacement, the biggest challenge coming out of that surgery is going to be your rehab. And the biggest predictor of a good outcome is being able to do that rehab fully from the get-go. So the stronger you are and the more functional that joint is pre-surgery, the better your outcome is long-term. And our program is so simple and so easy here at OsteoStrong that even if you have chronic pain, most people can do our program without increasing pain or without kind of paying for it later, if you will. So that's kind of in a nutshell where OsteoStrong is kind of pre-surgery or post-surgery. But then post-surgery and or post-joint replacement, we'll talk about post-surgery first. After surgery, as soon as you've gone through the rehab and your restrictions and such are lifted, then it is entirely safe to come back and do the program. If you're under weight restrictions or activity restrictions from your doctor or from your physical therapist, we just wait until those are lifted. So once you get the go-ahead to go ahead and do what you can do to your tolerance, then you can absolutely 100% do our program. And again, in here, if you're a member, you know that our program is 100% member driven. So you are totally in control the entire time. So because of that, coming post surgery of any kind, we just go to your limits. We go to your tolerance and we just start rebuilding from that point, from wherever you come back to us. And the same goes post joint replacement. Once your restrictions are lifted and you're kind of given the go-ahead to get back to just normal life, awesome. Then we can absolutely help you accelerate the life of that joint replacement. So one of the biggest challenges when you get a joint replacement, I don't know if you've ever heard, orthopedists will try to buy as much time as they possibly can before they'll do like a knee replacement or a hip replacement. So they'll tell you, you come to us and we'll do that replacement when you can't take it any longer, but we need to get you as long as we can. And the main reason for that is because we can only do 1 or 2 additional replacements after that first one. And a traditional knee replacement or hip replacement, especially if you're an active person, will last you about 5 to 10 years. So 7 to 10, 5 to 10 years, somewhere in there. So if you're 50 years old and you get a knee replacement, you're looking at 5 to 10 years, meaning, optimistically, you're going to be 60 and need another knee replacement, which is then going to get you to the age of 70. So then the reason for that is because if you kind of view my arm, here's the knee, we'll just do that, and here's the lower leg. When they do a knee replacement, they kind of cut off the top of the bone on both the bottom of the thigh bone and the top of the bottom bone. They put a new cap, if you will, on the bottoms of those bones, but they anchor down into the long bone. Hi, Theola! They anchor down into the long bone. So as you use those knee replacements, and the hip replacement is the same way, as you use those knee replacements and those hip replacements, that anchor will eventually start to kind of come loose. We start to get wear and tear in there. Because as we know, we covered this on our very first Wellness Wednesday, all about kind of the life cycle of bone. So go back and watch that if you don't know, but we know we reach peak bone mass at the age of 30. And as we age, we kind of, on average, will lose about 1 to 3% bone density. So in that joint replacement, it's anchored down into the bone. That bone continues to become less and less dense, unless you're doing something to continually stimulate that new bone growth. That bone will become less and less dense, and that anchor of that joint replacement will start to loosen. When that starts to loosen, it starts to create friction, which starts to create inflammation and will start to hurt again. So over a period of time, that joint replacement will start to wear out, if you will. But what's actually happening is it's just loosening because the bone is getting older and older and just starting to deteriorate. So literally what they do, guys, is they go in, they take out that old joint replacement, they put a new anchor in that's just bigger and longer, so hopefully they're driving down further into the bone to buy another 7 to 10 years, 5 to 10 years. There's only so much bone that they can drive down and anchor into, though, so that's the reason that typically you're looking at 2, maybe 3 joint replacements at most over a lifetime. So here, post-joint replacement, it's awesome because we're building bone density, and we are going to be building bone density around that anchor of that actual joint replacement, whether it's a hip or a knee or even a shoulder. We're going to be building bone density around that anchor and making it more stable. So the older you're getting, we're still building new bone density. We're still able to stimulate that osteogenesis, that new bone growth, because of the high impact emulation that we're able to do in here. So it's entirely safe for your joint replacements. You're totally in control, and we're building that solid new foundation to anchor those joint replacements in. Meaning we extend the life of those joint replacements and the functionality of the joint itself, the flexibility, and then the health of the ligaments and tendons and muscles that attach to those joints and move the joints. So whether you are pre-surgery, post-surgery, pre-joint replacement, post-joint replacement, because of the way the system works here and the ease with which our members are able to apply the amount of pressure that they're able to apply, in the position that you're put in, that safest range of motion, obviously under the eyes of a coach, people who have compromised joints or any kind of joint replacement do exceptionally well with our program here. So I hope that's a very long-winded answer, Pat. That answers your, oh, sorry, the phone rang. I think I might have lost. I'm back, okay. So it was kind of a long-winded answer to Pat's question. I get pretty jazzed up about joints and pain just because I know how much life people can get back when they feel good, and I know how much life people lose when they don't feel good. So it's kind of an exciting topic for me. So I hope that was a long-winded answer, but I hope that was helpful. And then second question, and it's a question that we get a lot, and I actually over this last week, I had this conversation with about 7 or 8 of our members as well. So I just want to retouch on something that we talk about during your first session. And obviously most of our members know, but a lot of our members forget why. And that is, why am I only coming to see you 1 time a week? If this is so awesome, why can't I do this 2 times a week or 3 times a week or 7 times a week, every day? And our program only being 1 time a week is the absolute best part of the system. It's awesome because it's literally one time a week for about 15 minutes. It's something anybody can do. Anybody can work into their lifestyle, but it's also the most unbelievable part. So it is what we get the most questions about, and here's why. So here's why it's only 1 time a week. First and foremost, it's because we're focusing on the bone tissue, and it's a very unique approach to strengthening the human body. So it's not like traditional exercise. And if we liken it to traditional exercise, we know that if you do weightlifting, it's best to, if you're going to be doing bicep curls or upper body, we only do that. I apologize, guys. I think I keep losing. Anyway, we only do that upper body exercise every other day. Our muscles need about 36 hours to 48 hours to kind of recover before we're going to add another strain on them, right? Same thing with lower body. It's about every 36 hours to 48 hours, about every 2 days. We also know that our hair grows at a certain rate and regenerates. Our fingernails regenerate at a certain rate. And so does our bone tissue. But bone tissue just takes longer. It takes longer to lose it. So also, that if you stop lifting weights or if you stop exercising, you get weak very, very quickly. Those muscles weaken very quickly. They're also easier to strengthen, and you can strengthen them more frequently. Bone tissue takes a lot longer to lose it, so we lose it over a lifetime, but it also takes a lot longer to build it back. So under the compressive force, or if you were powerlifting, you would only want to do that about every 5 to 7 days because it takes longer for bone tissue to regenerate before we can safely put another load in the skeletal system and prevent injury. So muscle tissue is about every 1.5 to 2 days, and bone tissue is just about every 5 to 7 days, give or take. So if you do OsteoStrong more frequently than once a week, you don't get any faster results. Most of the time we actually slow your results down, or you become a little bit more injury prone. And then we actually even have some members, some people that do the OsteoStrong program and just not seeing the results for whatever their goals are. And we actually, extend them out to like once every 10 days or once every 2 weeks, and they respond significantly better. And it's mainly because their body just needs more time to recover. So while 1 time a week is the most awesome part of our program, it's also the most hard to understand and the most hard to believe. and where a lot of people get skeptical because how could this possibly work in one time a week? But once you understand the approach we're taking and why it's only one time a week, it becomes obvious. So the other really cool part is in one time a week, we're strengthening the skeletal structure. So we're focusing on bone tissue. Bone tissue regenerates a little bit slower. But the other thing that happens is everything that attaches to the bones, to those bones that we're strengthening, all the muscles, ligaments, tendons, and joint structures that we just talked about are strengthening as well. And so that's why, we can help people with bone density, help people who have osteoporosis and osteopenia, but we also get the results that we get with improved back and joint pain and energy and posture and balance and overall strength and physical wellness. It's the reason that the system works and works on so many levels, because we're focused on strengthening the foundation of the body, but we get the added bonus of strengthening everything that attaches to it without having to do a lot of the effort of traditional exercise. So the other thing that I just wanted to touch on in regards to kind of the one time a week and back and joint pain and joint surgeries and knee replacements and all that kind of stuff, joint replacements and just physical health in general, is a couple of weeks ago we took a really deep dive into arthritis and how this helps with arthritis, but some other things that you can do for arthritis pain at home. And the same thing for prehab if you need to have surgery, or rehab post-surgery, or pre-joint replacement or post-joint replacement, is utilizing a mini trampoline, a rebounder at home. And if you are ever in the center, that's that little black and red thing that people can bounce on. It's literally a little mini trampoline. And I know that I talked about this a couple weeks ago. If you want to check out that video, that would be awesome. But it is so great for people who have known conditions in their joints or who are looking at a surgery in their future or a joint replacement. And then certainly post-surgery or post-joint replacement. It's a ton of fun. It helps with balance. It helps with circulation and lymphatic flow, but it also helps reduce inflammation. And it's a weightless type of exercise, so there's no impact. And it's a ton of fun. So, and like I talked about in the other video, I have one. It's in my bathroom. I bounce on it about every day while I'm brushing my teeth. It helps. It's awesome for energy and just kind of waking up the body as well. So the link to the rebounder that I've always used and the one that I recommend, just because it's awesome, it's affordable, and it doesn't break down, it doesn't get weak, is pinned in the comments. So if you're interested in checking that out, it's just on Amazon. You just order it from Amazon. It just happened to be the one that I found works the best. We've been through a few and the springs get loose and that kind of stuff. So it's great. So go ahead and check that out. And any questions in the comments at all, Sarah? No. Okay.
Nope, we're good.
So I hope this was valuable. I hope you guys learned something. Again, if you're watching live, make sure to say hi in the comments. And if you're catching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments or say hi, let us know that you were here. And if you have a question, you're a member, bring it up with your coach the next time that you're in. There's also a clipboard with a sheet of paper that you can leave your question on, or even just a topic that you want me to cover. Go ahead and let us know. There's also a pinned post on our Facebook page. OsteoStrong Sioux Falls is our Facebook page. There's a pinned post at the top of our page for you to also submit questions or topics that you would like me to cover. So whether you're a member, whether you're new here, whether you're wondering what in the heck this crazy program called OsteoStrong is all about, and just want to know more, leave us a comment. The replays for these lives are all in our Facebook page, and they're also emailed out on Thursdays to you guys for you to watch, especially if you couldn't make it live. So join us next week. Again, if you have any questions, topics, let us know. Join us next week. We try to go live around noon-ish, depending on our schedule here in the center. We try to go live around noon-ish on Wednesdays. So talk to you then.